Hello there, Mara here again. I'd been preparing my video about my face transformation, and I ran face first into my depersonalization again. Or, rather, the hole left behind by it. So instead, today, we're going to talk about depersonalization. Though this is technically caused by my dysphoria, how dysphoria manifests for me is a completely different topic that I'll bring up in a later episode. So Wikipedia says, depersonalization is a dissociative phenomenon characterized by a subjective feeling of detachment from oneself, manifesting as a sense of disconnection from one's thoughts, emotions, sensations, or actions, and often accompanied by a feeling of observing oneself from an external perspective. A chronic version of this is also called depersonalization derealization disorder, or DPDR, which I definitely had. Now, I like the definition on the Mayo Clinic better that describes this disorder as when you always or often feel that you're seeing yourself from outside your body, or you sense that things around you are not real, or both. From what I've heard, it's somewhat prevalent in transgender people, though I have no idea what percentage of us are affected by it. For me, if I saw myself in a mirror, only logic would dictate that the thing I saw looking at me was me. Whenever I saw photos of me, pictures that had me in them with other people or whatever, I never actually recognized who I was without having to do a process of elimination. I recognize everybody else here, for example. Oh, that ugly guy, that must be me. My depersonalization has manifested in different ways over the years. For most of my teenage years, I kept imagining I was watching me do the mundane things of my life, like I was outside of myself entirely, like watching it live on television. Later on, it turned into a constant feeling of being a pilot controlling a hideous robot that looked nothing like how I imagined the real me would look. When I saw a scene just like that in Men in Black, I immediately grabbed onto that concept because that's exactly how it felt. Have you ever played a fixed camera third-person game like Alone in the Dark or Bioforge? Yeah, I play a lot of old DOS games. That kind of weird disassociative feeling or disconnected feeling that you have between the player and the character is sort of what this felt like. Later still, due to having played excessive amounts of role-playing, I have over 20,000 hours of RP experience now, I felt that I personally had no personality at all. It all poured out when I role-played, particularly with female characters. Seriously, I remember how Sanera and Ulanda and Ta and Vendesa and Dara and even my old Noel in D&D and Nazaria, I remember how they look better than I remember how I myself really looked back then, and how they look was exclusively in my own imagination. So let's look at these symptoms from the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, that basically describes what I was just talking about, well, other than this middle one. To be abundantly clear, I do not have this anymore. Thank you so much, HRT. I had it nonstop from when I was around 13 years old until just a few months ago on July 8th, about 5.5 months into HRT, when it finally vanished. So I had around 33 years of it. Now when I look in a mirror, like a normal person, I see myself. When I look at photos of myself now, I just like, yeah, that's me. And this works for me looking at really old photos of me now too, back before my first puberty started wrecking my body. But any time in between feels like this gaping hole in my memories. So throughout this year, I haven't been going back and looking at old photos. I've been so busy and concerned with transitioning, taking photos of what I've been going through, until I made a joke in another video and had a little freak out when I was putting the video together. But seriously, how does Lauren Carpenter look exactly the same 35 years later? What is your secret, Lauren? I look nothing like I used to 35 years ago. Explain that! Wait a moment. I do look like the me from 35 years ago before my first puberty? So, sure. I wanted to talk about how my face looks like I have lost some 20 to 30 years of aging. I started going back to my old photos after my first puberty, and I broke down crying. Now, it's just incomprehensible to me that I could look at these old photos and I have no clue that that is me there. But I absolutely do not recognize myself at all. I see all these people I recognize surrounding this unfamiliar person in all these pictures. I keep seeing this stranger posing with, holding, or being with my wife over and over again. I even tried looking at my senior yearbook, and when I got to the photo of myself, I don't recognize me here at all either. That's what I looked like? That? I tried flipping through the yearbook, looking at the group photos to see if I could find any others with me in them, and I have no clue. This was futile. I recognize maybe a tenth of the faces. I could be in half of the photos, and I have no damned clue. Now, I have a whole video planned to explore the changes in my face, and I'll probably repeat a little bit of this, but that's for next time. So, do you have depersonalization, or maybe derealization, where nothing in your life feels real? Has it gone away from taking HRT? Or if you had it and lost it, have you tried looking at old photos of yourself? You may not even recognize that person whatsoever anymore. Hello again. I started putting my video together, and suddenly I had a problem, and that was that I started actually recognizing the old me in all of these photos as I was putting them together to put in the video. I should have expected this. I don't have the filter now in my brain where it's like I see them and then in my eyes and then out. But it's a little strange. It was just not something I thought about when I put this video together. So there's that. So now I know what old me looks like again. I mean, I could keep it in my head. I could look at a picture and be like, oh yeah, there's old me. Anyways, I just wanted to add that because it was just surprising to me. Talk to everybody later. Bye.